we're around the corner from Chodesh Elul. Yeah, Tisha B'Av is next week, but then everybody talks about Tshuva and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and so on and so forth. Efshar lachshov, you might think that you can only do Tshuva during those days. But before we're going to actually talk about Tshuva itself, I want to introduce you to a concept. Okay? To a concept. And this concept is called filling up the cracks with gold. Emphasize the fixing to create continuity and to rejuvenate the signs of life. It's very possible. It's not very possible. It is possible. It happens to all of us. Even though we might not say it out loud, but most of us, if not all of us, in our childhood, or when we become young adults, have a picture perfect of our lives. How our life should be, right? We think that we're going to become maybe expert in something. One wants to be an expert in medicine, the other one wants to be an expert in Torah, the other one wants to be an expert in martial arts, and so on and so forth, to reach a certain level of perfection in those fields. We all hope, wish, and fantasize that we're going to have a great relationship with our spouses, and everything is going to be peachy keen, hunky-dory, everything's going to be perfect. We're going to have a job there's going to be a very fulfilling job. It's going to pay us a lot of money. And every morning we'll get up and we say, I'm so happy to get up this morning and to go to a job with a big smile on your face. Right? We all have those things, that we're going to have a very good family life, functioning family, that we're going to get respect from others, and others will acknowledge ourselves and our greatness, so-called. However, most, if not all, of those visions that we create to ourselves don't really go along, in real life according to what we planned. And many times, we come to this reality where the dreams are shattered. And it's very difficult. Show me a person who doesn't have a dream that was shattered. Show me a person, and I'll tell you he's a liar. Everybody has a dream that hasn't been fulfilled. Everybody has a dream that he came to a realization that it's never going to happen, this dream is shattered. Everyone. Sometimes it is catastrophic things. Family breaking apart, divorce, death. And when it comes to that, I would like to introduce you. Yes, I know. A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, I don't really care. I don't really care. People were talking about the Rambam that he learned from Aristotle. So I'm going to care. What's true is true. What can help us to become better people and better Jews will help us to become better people and better Jews. That's the bottom line. That's how it is. You don't like it, you can turn it off right now. I don't really care. It doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. Your loss. That concept comes from the Japanese philosophy, or in the Japanese way of life and the way they look at things. For hundreds of years, the Zen teachers develop an approach that you don't throw away broken clay vessels. We call it kacheres anishbar. Even in Judaism, a broken vessel, usually referred to an unfixable thing, is like a kli cheres, a clay pot that it's broken, and we take them and just simply throw them away. I mean, there's halachic enough kamina from that in terms of that we don't tovel them and so on and so forth and so on. However, they teach us that you have to have respect for them, for those broken vessels. And you'll see at the end, if you stick with me to the end, you see, I hope, that it was actually worthwhile, and I hope that it will change the way you look at about many things in your life. And I don't think it becomes more Jewish than that. Don't forget, to most of us, what we refer to in Judaism is a Western philosophy. It's a Western point of view, not an Eastern point of view. Right? And they teach us to have respect for them, to appreciate it, and gently, gently repair them. That process, which comes to symbolize the acknowledgement that time does take a toll on you, and that process is called kintsugi in Japanese. Kintsugi. Kin means gold, tsugi means jointry, to joint things with gold. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this, but when we finish, I can show you some pictures of that. Kintsugi is a Japanese art from the 15th century, where you take broken clay vessels and you take gold powder or something like this, and you take enamel, or some people today do with epoxy, or lacquer hardens, and you create a new vessel. By the way, this concept is a derivative from the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, of course, the famous wabi-sabi. You don't know what wabi-sabi is? Come tomorrow, I'll show you. Which is embracing the imperfect and trying to stay away from the perfect. The creating a very famous Japanese aesthetics where you with life, because it's alive, that things age and so on. So even today, people like distressed. Look how much it penetrates into us. We like distressed wood. Sometimes in kitchen they create those kitchen cabinets, this bleaching it like this in an uneven way to create almost like sun came on it and so on and so forth. The usage of it. For example, the Khatam Sofer writes, there is a question in halacha, if a person holds, in the etrog, has sometimes when you hold it from the sweat, it gets those like little blotches there, so it creates a certain chemical reaction there. So some people say maybe that's not considered to be hadar for an etrog. The Khatam Sofer, no, this is the beauty of an etrog. That's the hadar of the etrog. In other words, the whole beauty of the etrog is when you use it. That's Jewish wabi-sabi. And I'll show you more. Right? The most beautiful thing you see, for example, we have, Baruch Hashem, a lot of books here. A lot of books. But the books are all ripped and that's the beauty of it. Because somebody used it. When you hold something, a part of you goes into it, and a part of it goes into you. That's beauty. The people open that, and people learn with that. Imagine you can get a book from the time of the Gra. You might say, goodness gracious, that's from Vilna, and that's from the time. Maybe the Gra actually touched this book. That's beauty. To have nice books on your bookshelf that nobody ever used, that's not beautiful. That shows almost disrespect. You bought something so wonderful and great, you haven't ever used it. So, you see, there is a connection. So, taking that concept of katsigi, taking and making a joint with gold, and dafka they do it with gold and sometimes with silver, but the main thing was gold or silver. Today they do it maybe even with titanium, but really it's gold. And to take those broken pieces that maybe by mistake was broken, and all of a sudden it fell and it broke, and to put it together by lacquer, it's not about hiding the damage. Sometimes you would try to do it in such a way that it would look that there's no cracks in it. It's not hiding the damage, but it's actually to beautify the scars. To beautify the scars, those golden veins that go through it need to come to indicate to us that even in that there is something to learn. Even if from that there is some philosophical remedy that you could learn something from your life. You don't need to go to college and get a degree in philosophy to understand what you came here altogether. If you want to know, by the way, what enlightenment is really why I came here, my purpose of my life. And I'm sorry to tell you that. In most philosophical programs that they have, philosophy programs that they have, they don't teach you about the purpose of life because nobody's interested in the purpose of life. So yes, you can learn about the purpose of life or how you should be from a broken kli, from a broken vessel. About Katsigi, I want to tell you a little bit about it. They say, it's estimated that this concept had started during the Muramichi period in Japan when the famous shogun Oshiga Yoshimitsu died in 1408, broke his most favorite teacup that he had. They don't drink it from bowls like that. And he was so upset, he sent it to China to be fixed. When he sent it to China, he came back, it was stapled in a very ugly way with metal and so on and so forth. So he gave it to his craftsmen and ordered them to fix it in a way that will be appropriate to that. And they do so. They did so, they created that. That idea of appreciating simplicity, appreciating the imperfect, is a very interesting concept that appreciates also humbleness, wear and tear, and simplicity. Simplicity, to be simple, to be humble. There's a story about the famous philosopher, the Japanese philosopher Sannu Riku, which of course he created the tea ceremony and some other things. So he traveled in southern Japan, and he was invited to a special meal by this person, and he had just purchased this most beautiful vase. And he was serving the meal, and throughout the meal, Senriku would not even look at the vase. He was just looking at an old branch that came into sight, and he was just mesmerized by it. So upon his departure, the Balabat who invited him took the vase and he broke it. And then his people collected it and they fixed it in that matter. Next time he came, he says, "Oh, now it's beautiful. Now he got my attention. Now it's beautiful," which is a concept completely different from the Western way of looking at things, when everything has to be symmetrical, everything has to be perfect. That's, by the way, where Christianity came. Christianity came from that school of thought and said to you, you can never be perfect. And if you cannot be perfect, there's only one thing, and that's, and so on and so forth. You see where I'm going with this. So let go of anything. Not understanding the concept that we say in Judaism, en tzaddik shelo yechta. Everybody has a chet. Everybody has a crack in him. Nobody is perfect. And that's good that nobody is perfect. I'm going to tell you something. If you want to understand why Chazal told us that a Baal Tshuva stands on a higher place than a Tzaddik Gamur, a person who was born like this, now you'll understand. Because a Baal Tshuva, a person who sinned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and now he cares about it. He says, I'm a broken vessel. What have I done? I'm a broken vessel. And now with love, he connects the pieces to become a kli again, to become a vessel again. He connects it with gold. And in Judaism, that is the true beauty of a Baal Tshuva who put himself together with veins of gold to glorify the vessel for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we don't look at it this way. We look, Baal Tshuva, okay, second class. If you are frum from birth, off the derech, and you came back, frum from birth, FFB. But if you are BT, that's not good. Oh, you Baal Tshuva. Okay, I'm sorry, not for my daughter. Oh, Baal Tshuva. Sorry, not for my son. You're a good girl. I'll find you another Baal Tshuva. If you have this behavior in you, you have no idea and never understood what true beauty is like. You never understood. And that's something that, you know what? Here I said it. No, now what? You're going to sue me? I don't care, I said it. The way we treat Baalei Tshuva, and by the way, Baalei Tshuva always apologetic. Oh, I'm a Baal Tshuva. Okay, so what? Okay, now what? I ate bagel for breakfast. No what? I don't care. It's beautiful. Terrific. Why are you apologizing? Why are you apologizing? I don't understand that. Can you explain to me? The way we treat Baalei Tshuva is not a Jewish way. I'm sorry to tell you that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekol nהיה b'dvaro. In our society, we worship youth. To be young, forever young, right? We have to be young. Always to make new things. That's old stuff. Throw it away. Always, everything has to be perfect. Perfect. Right? The art of Katsigi gives us an opportunity to understand a different type of awareness to have. And we could really apply it to our lives. Whether it's your life, whether it's a broken teacup, you could apply it to your life. That love and gentleness, that we need to treat those broken vessels, should guide us to act with respect for everything who is damaged and scarred, is vulnerable and blemished, starting with ourselves and to other people around us. How many of us would be able to tolerate mentally disabled people? We reject them. We reject them. We reject these people. We don't like those people. How many of us would have become friends with somebody who is in a wheelchair, disabled? You'll see him as a burden. This is a wrong way to look at things. Why do you think the Torah tells you, do bikur cholim? Why do you think the Torah tells you, it's greater to go to a bet avel, to a house of a mourner, than to the house of where they do sheva brachot? Why do you think is that? Now you want to know? That is kitsugi. A Jewish way of life is the appreciation and understanding. It's all about that. It's all about the beauty in the broken. That you could fix it. You don't just throw it away. Rabotai, what do we do to our old people? What do we do to our old people? We throw them away. Here, today, right? My mother in Israel fell. She can hardly see, she fell. My father has cancer at home. My mother, she went to the street, she fell. She opened her chin, she opened her knees, she opened her lips, all over scratches. Now, if she was a beautiful young woman, those two lowlifes who passed by her will jump to help her, right? Right, of course. But she's an old lady, so nobody cares. That's what it is. Do we care? Instead of going to the beach and looking at beautiful young women, go to your grandmother. Go spend time with your grandmother. How long do you think your grandmother's going to stay there? Forever? She's not. That's what we did to the old people. We shipped them all to Florida. We put them in nursing homes. We don't want to hear about them. And we don't even appreciate for them. We have no appreciation for them. Did you ever try to give yourself from yourself to the broken people? To those who have problems? Or any kind of problems. Now you understand why Shlom Bayit is the most important maybe mitzvah that we have in terms of that. You're fixing not only a vessel, you're putting up together a house. You have to understand that. We don't do that. We don't live our life like that. That's why I don't think shul should be so elaborately beautiful. Shtibbles. That's nice. I want to sit on a chair that I know that before me 100 people, in their time sat there. It's like, that's what I want. When I went to Israel years ago, I davened in the shul that my grandfather davened, in the place that he sat right in Yemin Moshe, facing the walls of the old city. I felt like, I don't know, it was a totally different experience. I said, my grandfather sat here. That's his seat. I couldn't believe it. Appreciation of the old. That's an art. You could turn it into an art form. Judaism could do that. We Jews could do it, but we don't appreciate that. To help to the weak, to help him because achicha is your brother. La'azor, to help the yatom, the ger, the almanah, the aliens in your society, the widows, the orphans, the broken people. Stay away from the rich people. That's a Jewish concept. We need to understand that kind of art form, not only not trying to hide the cracks, on the contrary, it emphasizes the cracks and the fixing of the cracks as like a history, as a part of a history of the object, not as the end of its life. Now I feel bad that I threw away the plate that I had. I told you they used to serve the challah on it. I had it for like 20-something years, and then all of a sudden it just committed suicide. It just fell out of nowhere, and it broke into two actually beautiful parts. I was very upset that it broke, but me and my small-mindedness didn't understand. I mean, now that I look at the way it broke, I said, what is that? It broke really beautiful. It wasn't just like that. It went like this, and I said, wow, if I could have just filled it up with gold, it would have been beautiful. Better than ever. It would show that we actually used it ledvar mitzvah. It was on Shabbat table all the time, serving challah. What a fool I was. And that's a tremendous musar for me. And for you. You ever see a broken soldier? Go to the VA hospital, you see a lot of them. We all want to take pictures next to big, fat Navy SEALs like this, monsters of human beings. But we don't want to go to the hospital to help those who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, or to volunteer at times for people like that. Chas v'shalom, we don't want to do those things. If you have something at home that is old, don't throw it away. Don't hide it. Use it. I have in my home a mortar and pestle that my grandmother got from her grandmother as a wedding gift. And I found it was thrown somewhere before they gave up the house. I couldn't believe that my grandparents' house is so unclean. So I went to clean it, and it just kind of was calling me, and I found it in the bag. And I said, wow, and I have it in my home, and I use it. Every time I use it, I can feel my grandmother pounding it, and my great-grandmother and my great-grandmother, they all use that. I have for Pesach, it's all, you look at it and say, this, when we wrap the afikomanet, it's a silk that was embroidered with gold threads. It's all crumbling, ripping, falling apart. And I put my afikoman in it. You know why? Because that has been in my family for over 180 years. So yes, it's falling apart. But look at this. We are doing the same thing that my great-grandparents did in the same bag. If my great-grandfather will come and say, I know this one, that's mine. What are you doing with this? That's what we did. That's the beauty of things. So when we take something that was broken and we put it together, it becomes a new object, a new item, more beautiful. And that's why a Baal Tshuva is like a Tinok Shenolad. It's a new baby, it's a new form, it's a new person. The old person is not here. Now we have a more beautiful person, a more beautified vessel, which is more beautiful than the original one. To understand that will help us accept, first of all, ourselves. Because we all have our own blemishes, our own wrongdoing, our own cracks, and things that we are not, all the wounds and the things that we are not good in life, all the things that really are chisaron, lacking in our life, that we are lacking. And we can take it and we can make it if we understand that and we accept it, and we're able to use love, and we can know how to put things together. We could create an object that is much better than the original. And you have to remember that. And many people become darker, and gloomier as they get older, and they don't want to have this change in their lives. They put Botox, whatever it is they do facelifting, all kind of like crazy things, because they're not willing to accept that. But how beautiful and how much message does a face of an old man or woman carry with all the wrinkles that how many times they smiled in their lives, and so there's something beautiful in that wrinkly skin of an old person. And not understanding and appreciating this is missing out really not only to a great part of your life, it's basically missing about your whole entire life. And when we say that, and that's why when we take that, we don't hide those cracks. We take those cracks and we beautify them with gold. And we have concept like that. Al tiruni shani shecharchoret shezafatni hashamesh. I'm black. I'm not as beautiful. I'm black in terms of I'm working in the fields. I'm not like those maidens who never saw sunlight. And then what does he answer her? Right? When she says, Al tiruni shani shecharchoret shezafatni hashamesh. What did he tell her? Inach yafa ra'ayati, inach yafa einayich yonim. You are beautiful, my beloved one. You are beautiful with all this hardship that you have gone through. And so is Am Yisrael, with all the hardship that Am Yisrael is going through, if we'll be able to put it and glorify it together with gold. It's actually a beautiful thing. We need to understand that. And that yofi, that great beauty that we all have, that beauty emerges, Rabotai, only when there is a crack that goes all the way through to the vessel. When it's perfect, you don't know what's in it. Only that crack makes it beautiful. So Rabotai, if you want to know about true beauty, that's true beauty. I really hope that you would look at things a little different today. I really hope you look at yourself a little different today. I hope you look at disabled people different today. And I hope we will make everything beautiful with veins of gold. And we shall all become a better vessel. Tiferet leosenu, a glory to Hashem. Amen.